Have you ever felt sleepy at the exact same time every afternoon, or woken up just moments before your alarm clock was set to blare? It might feel like a coincidence, but it's not. There is a hidden clock ticking away inside nearly every cell of your body, a silent metronome that guides your daily life in ways you might never have imagined. This internal timekeeper is far more powerful and influential than most of us realize, and understanding it is the key to unlocking better health, energy, well-being. This isn't just about sleep. It's about the fundamental rhythm of your life. This essay will pull back the curtain on this fascinating internal world. We're going to explore what these biological clocks are, why they are so incredibly important, and how our modern lives can throw them completely out of sync. We will break down the science into simple, easy-to-understand parts, using everyday examples to show how this hidden clock directs your hunger, your mood. So, what exactly is a circadian rhythm? At its core, it's your body's innate 24-hour cycle. It controls when you feel sleepy, when you feel awake, when you feel hungry. Think of it like a pre-programmed daily schedule your body follows. This isn't one clock. It's a network of clocks. There's a master clock in your brain. Smaller local clocks live in organs, the liver, the stomach, the muscles. All these clocks coordinate like a symphony to keep you running efficiently. Picture your phone. You set a main alarm to wake up. That's like the master clock. You also set smaller alerts, a calendar reminder for lunch, a notification to stand and stretch. Each alert is like a local clock, taking cues from the main alarm, but managing its own task. When alerts are synchronized, your day runs smoothly. Definition: circadian rhythms are the physical, the mental, and the behavioral changes that follow a daily cycle. They're driven by internal biological clocks, but shaped by external cues, especially sunlight. The system aligns your body's functions with day and night. How does your body actually keep time? The process is a fascinating loop that involves light, your eyes, and a special part of your brain. It all starts when light enters your eyes, especially the blue light from the morning sun. That light travels along a special pathway directly to the master clock, the suprachiasmatic nucleus, the SCN. The SCN is a tiny cluster of about 20,000 nerve cells. It's the ultimate boss of your body's daily schedule. We can break down this daily cycle into 3 main steps. The first step is the start signal. When the SCN detects bright light in the morning, it interprets this as daytime has begun. It then sends out signals to the rest of your body to wake up. It tells your adrenal glands to release cortisol. It tells your digestive system to get ready for your first meal. This is your body's official start to the active part of its day, all triggered by that initial burst of morning light. The second step is the change that occurs as the day progresses. Throughout the day, the SCN continues to send out timed signals that control various bodily functions: body temperature, blood pressure, athletic performance. As evening approaches and the light outside begins to fade, the SCN detects this change. This reduction in light signals that the day is ending and it's time to start winding down. The final step is the result: preparing for sleep. Once the SCN senses darkness, it sends a message to another small gland in your brain, the pineal gland. This is the cue for the pineal gland to start producing melatonin, often called the hormone of darkness. Thinking that your circadian rhythm only affects your sleep is, like thinking the engine in your car only powers the radio. In reality, this internal clock system influences nearly every aspect of your health and daily experience. When your rhythm is stable and synchronized, you don't just sleep better, you feel better in countless other ways. For instance, a well-tuned clock can lead to a more stable mood, sharper thinking, a stronger immune system. Let's make this personal. Have you ever experienced social jet lag? This is the tired, groggy feeling you get on Monday morning after staying up late and sleeping in on the weekend. That feeling is your body struggling to readjust after its internal clock was shifted by just a few hours. This shows how sensitive your circadian rhythm is. On the flip side, when you stick to a consistent schedule, even for a few days you might notice more energy, better digestion, easier focus. This isn't a placebo effect. It's the tangible result of your body's systems running in harmony. The timing of your daily activities can have a surprisingly big impact. For example, your muscles have their own clocks. Studies suggest that physical performance, strength, flexibility is often at its best in the late afternoon. This is when your body temperature is highest and your muscles are most primed for action. Similarly, Your digestive system is most efficient during the day. Eating a large meal late at night can be harder to process because the clocks in your gut have already started to wind down for the evening, preparing for a long period of fasting and repair. It's not about forcing yourself into a rigid, unforgiving schedule. It's about making small, informed choices that align with your body's natural programming. The science that studies these internal clocks is called chronobiology. Chronobiology is the field of biology that examines periodic, cyclic phenomena in living organisms, and their adaptation to solar-related rhythms and lunar-related rhythms. At its heart, chronobiology is about understanding the how and why of these internal timers. Scientists in this field made a groundbreaking discovery. They found the specific genes responsible for running our biological clocks. These are often called clock genes. They are present in almost every cell in your body. These clock genes work in a beautiful, self-regulating feedback loop. It takes about 24 hours to complete. Think of it like a tiny molecular hourglass. Over the course of the day, these genes produce proteins. Proteins build up in the cell. They reach a point where they turn off the very genes that made them. Over the course of the night, these proteins gradually break down. Once they're gone, the genes are free to turn back on. The entire 24-hour cycle starts all over again. To test these ideas, scientists conduct experiments, placing a plant or an animal in constant darkness, completely cut off from external time cues. What they find is amazing. The organism continues to follow an approximately 24-hour cycle of activity and rest. This proves the clock is truly internal. The 2017 Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine was awarded to 3 scientists for discovering these molecular mechanisms controlling circadian rhythm. Their work started by studying fruit flies and uncovered clock genes similar across many species, including humans. Our modern world, with its 24/7 connectivity and bright electric lights, can be a challenging environment for our ancient internal clocks. When there's a mismatch between our internal time and the external world, it leads to something called circadian disruption. This is more than just feeling a little off. Chronic disruption can have serious consequences for our health. Higher rates of heart disease, diabetes, and certain types of cancer, especially in long-term shift workers. Not all rhythms are the same. Some people are natural morning larks, others are night owls. This is your chronotype, largely determined by genetics. Forcing a night owl to live on a lark's schedule can be a constant source of circadian stress. Let's consider a simple story. Sarah was a college student who prided herself on pulling all-nighters, energy drinks, up until 4 a.m., sleep until noon. Weekends were even more erratic. Soon she felt fatigued, irritable, couldn't concentrate, caught frequent colds, and her digestion was a mess. Sarah was living in chronic circadian disruption, a confused master clock and local clocks out of sync. The problem wasn't just a lack of sleep, it was a lack of rhythm. She tried a small experiment: wake at 8 a.m., bed around 11 p.m. daily, morning sun walk, dim lights at night. Within 2 weeks she felt more rested, her mood improved, and she could study more effectively in fewer hours. The good news is that you don't need complicated gadgets or expensive supplements to support your circadian rhythm. The most powerful tool you have is light. Try to expose yourself to bright light, preferably natural sunlight, within the first hour of waking up. Even 10 to 15 minutes can make a difference. Conversely, in the 2 to 3 hours before bed, try to minimize your exposure to bright light, especially the blue light from screens. Consistency is your other superpower. Try to stick to a relatively consistent sleep-wake schedule, even on weekends. Your body loves predictability. When it knows when to expect sleep, activity, and food, it can prepare and perform more efficiently. Since your digestive system is most active during the day, try to eat meals in a consistent window and avoid heavy meals close to bedtime. Regular activity is great, but intense workouts right before bed can make falling asleep harder for some people. Listen to your body. Start small. A morning walk or dimming lights at night. Keep a simple note of how you feel. More energy? Better sleep? If you have persistent sleep problems or health concerns, talk to a healthcare professional for personal advice. Our circadian rhythm is a fundamental and powerful part of our biology, not just about sleep, but a master system coordinating countless functions. This system is guided by a master clock in our brain, influenced most strongly by the daily cycle of light and dark. While modern life can disrupt this rhythm, we can support it with simple, consistent habits. The big takeaway: small, consistent actions lead to profound benefits. What is one small change you will try this week to better align with your body's natural circadian rhythm? Conclusion: you don't need a massive life overhaul. Just start listening to the clock inside you and give it clear cues: morning light, steadier timing for sleep, meals, and movement. Sources: if this helped, tap like, share it with a friend who needs better sleep, and subscribe for more science made simple. This video is educational and not medical advice. For persistent sleep or health issues, please consult a qualified healthcare professional.